Hi guys, thank you for signing up for the webinar later, 7 p.m. Philippine time. I'll also post the Zoom link here. You can watch it in Facebook Live. Week one, we'll talk about people pleasing in romantic relationships. Here we will talk about the indications. How would you know if you are operating in love, in a relationship, or in fear, right? Do you really love that person, or you just want someone to rescue? You just want someone to need you, right? Or do you really feel in control when you're with in that relationship? How would you know if you're operating in grace and love, or you're operating in fear of abandonment or fear of rejection? I think one of the clear indications, if you're operating in fear, is that you feel resentful in the relationship, you feel unloved, unseen, unheard, you feel used in the relationship, and you're not fulfilled. But you're so used to being people pleaser, yeah, right. You're just so used to not saying no. You're just so used to being useful to other people, even if this person doesn't really appreciate you or doesn't really respect your values and stuff. So that's something that we'll talk about later. And there will be a question and answer in case that you have questions on the later part. This is very important for me, this topic, because people pleasing has been a very acceptable um, behavior, attitude here in our nation and maybe in other nations as well. And, the people pleasing is operating in fear. It is a traumatic response that we developed when we were younger, and that's something we will discuss on week two. People pleasing in families. Um, so the Bible says that there is no fear in love. Perfect love casts out fear, and fear has something to do with punishment. So if you know Jesus and if you are under His authority, you would know that there's no more punishment. For us, he took all the punishment of sins in the cross. There might be discipline when we do something that's not appropriate, if that's not aligned with our identity. But even in discipline, there is reassurance of love. There is a reassurance of our identity, our connection with the Father, with God, right? So if we operate on fear in relationship, that's not how it's supposed to be, right? Yeah, we will discuss that later in the webinar. And also, the purpose of this series of webinars to really help people keep a pure heart. Psalms 24 says, "Who will ascend to the mountain of the Lord? Those who have clean hands and pure hearts." And we are in the last days, as we are seeing the signs of times. And to me, it's very important that we always have our hearts prepared. Matthew or the Bible also says about the wise and the foolish bride. And we want to be the wise bride, the people who's always ready for the coming of the King, the people whose heart is always ready to be house of God, right? And that can be achieved, I believe, by having a pure heart. And people pleasing is not promoting a pure heart; it's promoting fear. It's promoting imprisonment. It's promoting not being true, lying to yourself, lying to your truth, not being able to communicate what's true to your heart. So we want to improve on that. We want to grow from this people pleasing attitude. There. So again, thank you so much for signing up. I'll see you later. Have a great day.